So I want to talk a little bit about systemic racism and um, how it can impact a child's education, even if they are not directly impacted or directly the recipient of what is going on. So I just want to do it in an illustration. So let's say that there is a grandchild or grandchildren that they receive a lot of their care from the grandparent, or they spend a lot of time with the grandparent. They're really close with that grandparent. And for some reason, let's say health reasons, the child can no longer spend that time with the grandparent. And that's the grandparent's health. And so if the child is very young, um, and not cannot express verbally, I miss my grandparent. I want to be with my grandparent. I want to go see them. So the child is becoming frustrated because they can't verbally say it. And they begin to act out. And, it's kind of like, oh, I don't know where this is coming from. This child is really acting out. But the child is frustrated. There's such a closeness or a connection. And even if the child is verbal, you can have kind of the same reaction because maybe that child does not know how to express, you know, that connection that I share with a teacher or a grandparent or whoever is now, I no longer have that connection. And I miss that person. That person was important to me in my life. I can share, like with a grandparent, I could tell my grandparent anything, things that I wouldn't say to my parent. I can say to that grandparent, and kind of what the grandparent gives to the grandchild, the hugs, that energy that I love you no matter what. And, it's just kind of this overwhelming, mushy love that grandparents give to grandchildren. So you're probably thinking like, oh, what does that have to do with anything? So now let's get to the point of why the grandparent can no longer spend all that time with the grandchild. So as I said, because of health reason, they can no longer do it. So let's say that the grandparent is going back and forth to the doctors, not feeling well, and trying to get answers. And the grandparent is being met with dismissive answers, being met with kind of a subtle, your insurance won't pay for these tests, so we will not run them kind of answers. And and when I'm speaking of this, the reason that I'm not, it is in fact biases, and it is in fact racism, and it is in fact all of these things. You go to the doctor and the assumption as a person of color, as a black, I'm going to now speak for me, as a black woman, and you say, I'm having this pain that I've been having for this amount of time. I keep coming back to you, explaining this to you. I am now having weight loss, unexplained weight loss, which is always a bell ringer of issues on a regular, normal person. And I don't even know why I say regular, normal, but just as a person in general, if you're having this kind of thing of pain and weight loss and being tired, that's an alarm. Doctors are running to say, what's going on? But when you're a black woman, they want to know, oh, here she go. Does she want drugs? And then they do their lab work. You're telling them, no, this is not why I'm here. They do their lab work. Oh, they read your chart. Oh, she doesn't use drugs. Oh, she's never used drugs. Oh, She doesn't drink. So then they'll come. Now, mind you, in the beginning, when you first came in there, they're saying things like, well, all I can give you is an aspirin. Well, all I can say, so you can tell in the beginning when they're starting their conversation with you, what they're thinking of you. Then they come back after they have the opportunity to glance, because they surely do not read and really try to figure out what's going on, but to glance to see if whether you are, in fact, someone who's coming in for drugs, so they think. And they come back and then they want to offer you pain pills. They want to give you that. They don't want to give you answers. They don't want to find out what really is going on with you. But here, let me prescribe some codeine for you. No, I don't. No, I don't want codeine. I want to know why I'm going through this. Oh, well, how about this? Let me give you this. No, that medicine has like 38 side effects, and you don't even know why you're prescribing it. We don't even know what's wrong with me. I don't want to mask my symptoms. I want to know why it's happening. So as a person, and you're going through this over and over, you become, now the pain is actually wearing you down. You have fatigue as a parent, as a grandparent, as a teacher, whoever you are, as a support of a family, a friend. So now you can't support that person in the way in which you had in the past. And what you have given to that person meant so much for them to receive, to help them to go on and do what they need to do. You can no longer do that now because you're not receiving your help, your care, your support because of racism, because of biases, because of the things that are in place to keep you. Your insurance doesn't cover it. Things that are in place and to keep you. We talk about the notion of preventative care. But one of the things I've heard over and over again in my care is that, well, while your test looks like this, you have not gotten to this point yet. So let's keep watching you. What does that sound like? It sounds like you're going to watch me until I reach that alarming point in which you then will care for me. That doesn't sound like preventative care to me. So now the person who has cared for this child, this grandchild, this nephew, this niece, or whoever in life, this person can no longer do that because of that racism, because of systemic biases, because of implicit biases, because of whatever is happening. And the child is now not receiving that support and doesn't know how to say how important it was to them in their lives. So they're suffering, they're depressed, they're angry, they're going through all this, and they may not even know why, because that parent or grandparent or whoever can no longer connect with them. This is how it goes down the line, and this is why we as Black people in the community we are trying to explain to people that this is not just something that is felt by the adult or the adult caregiver, or just that grandmother off on the side, that grandfather off on the side, that auntie off on the side, that uncle off on the side. No, it is something that it happens throughout the generations. So it happens to the grandparent, but it's felt generations down. This is why we say when you are teaching children or when you are trying to understand what is going on, when you're trying to come to all of this, there's a realization that there is so much more going on. And it's felt way beyond just that immediate person happening. So because you don't see the grandchild's healthy, this is going on, this grandchild has two parents. What's going on here? The parents must not be doing their job. No. So I just wanted to kind of give an illustration of grandparent not receiving care. The grandparent can no longer have that close connection with their grandchildren. And then because that grandparent is not receiving the care, they're becoming mentally and emotionally feeling like they're in a battleground. And now they can't connect the way they used to. And this is not only in, and this is why we say it's beyond just the family. It's beyond just that person. It spills out and flows into our community. And so I just wanted to explain that and hope that it gives you a kind of picture of how it's beyond just that immediate person.